Yes, man. Well, I hope you had a nice day, anyways. We're about 8 minutes after, so we may as well kick it off. So, yeah, I just want to introduce everyone to Film Perspective. He's from a project called Neo Masterpiece Films. Um, yeah, Perspective. I'll give the floor to you for a little bit. Maybe give the monks a little bit of an introduction into you, who you are, what you guys are doing, all of that stuff. I've got a couple of questions here for you, but most of the time the floor will be yours.
Sure, sure. I'll give you kind of the elevator pitch of what Neo Masterpiece Films is. Kind of a brief on how I got here and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, so Neo is my attempt at bridging the film industry and Web three, or as we've come to coin it, Film three. Everyone who is here in this space now recognizes that this technology will eventually be a part of every aspect of life in one way or another in the next 10, 15 years, the same way that the internet, cell phones, TV, all of those emerging technologies eventually took hold and were mass adopted, and that includes the film industry, and I think theater, and really all uh, art entertainment will have NFTs connected to them in some way. The way that I got into this space was I have been in the film industry since I was 21, which was about 16 years ago. And anyone who's in this film industry is, one, probably jaded, and two, knows that it's a very, very gated industry. There's lots of gates that you have to get through to even get to the point that you are working regularly in the industry. And, some people don't even make it that far. Um, and it's been like that from I've talked to some of the guys who've been on my team or been making movies in the 80s. It's been like that since before, I would say probably since the 40s, when they really started to decide what movies need to be made, what were the rules for movies, that kind of thing. That's when the gates really went up. And I had a film called The Groomer. If you look in our Discord, you can see a slizer reel for it and a pitch deck. And it was a really important film to me. I had taken it. It was a story that I really wanted to tell, and I wanted to be the one to tell it. So I wrote it. I went through all the channels, and I got it up to the big boys, and I got it up to Paramount. And Paramount said, "Yes, let's make that movie. It's great. I think this is a winner, but we don't want you to make it. Your name really isn't bankable enough for us. What we'll do, though, is we will write you a check. You'll be a producer on this, and you'll get a writer credit, but we'll get one of our guys to direct it." And it was a nice check. It was hard to turn that part down, but on the same end, I was like, excuse my French, but fuck you. Are you really going to say that some director, just because he's more bankable, can tell the story better than me, who wrote it, who uh, knows it in and out? It was a bit of spite that it was my story and that I wanted to be the one that told it. So I turned it down and I walked away. And I spent a while trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to make this film now that I turned down Paramount? And I looked at Indiegogo and I looked at GoFundMe, and both of those have really become centralized as well. It's hard to get any kind of footing there unless you're a celebrity, which is, again, BS that, you know, celebrities can walk in and ask for a GoFundMe on something that they could easily fund it themselves with their own money. It worked great when it first came out, but it's no longer that. And I distinctly remember watching a live stream of a starving artist who had been in galleries for years and having trouble making it. and he had turned some of his art into NFTs, and he was doing a live stream of an auction for one of his pieces, and it sold for 1.5 million dollars, somewhere around there. And it clicked to me. I'm like, yep, that's it. That's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make NFTs. And I started with I was gonna make some art, cool art, figure out how to sell it, and then use that as the budget to make the film. And that's where the art style for Neo came from. The I am a weeb. So Neo Tokyo, anime, cyberpunk, like those are all things that I really enjoy, and I thought other people would too. So I started making that art. But as I sat in the space longer, I realized, hey, like there are no walls here, like there are in, the real world. So maybe I can take, this opportunity, because I also noticed then that there wasn't really anybody doing film in NFTs. There was a couple, and I've followed from other people. They said that were ended up just being rug pulls, which was a pretty sad way to start. But I said, okay, like maybe there's more to this than just making some art. Maybe I can figure out a way to break down like those walls that I hate about. I love making movies, but I hate the industry. And probably anybody you talk to that's been doing it a while feels the same way. We wouldn't do it if there wasn't a huge passion for it. And I started to come up with this idea for Neo as a way to create almost like a democratic film production company, a way to allow people, despite, no matter where they're from, how much money they make, what their creed was, none of that mattered. All that matters is they wanted to be a part of it, that they believed in the vision, and were willing to purchase an NFT to do that, to help fund this vision. And that's where Neo came from. And I started building it about 6 months ago. This is my first project, so I stumbled through it like most people, and just kind of found out who to work with that was good in the space after working with a couple scammers. Just I think everybody goes through it as they build a project. And I finally feel like I'm at this point where I gotten good footing and figured out how this space works and who to work with. And that's where I'm at now. I'm, working towards building doing our first mint here on November 18th. And that will be the Neo NFT, first round of Neo NFTs, the 3,333. And we're going to use that money to fund the pre-production for The Groomer, the film that had kind of put me down this path in the first place. That wasn't a short elevator pitch. I realized that.
That's all right. That was perfect. It basically told everyone exactly what you guys are doing and all of that. I do have a couple of pre-prepared questions here that I'll just whip through. So first of all, you have two different NFTs in your ecosystem. What are they and how do they work?
So there's two NFTs, like you said, and the analogy that I like to use is Neo is like a mullet. It's business in the front and party in the back. The business in the front is our founder NFTs. Our founder NFTs are a very small mint. There's 1,150 total, and they are in 3 tiers. And those tiers are based on how much you want to be a part of the production company. But essentially, they are fractionalized ownership of the production company. And by holding those, you are entitled to a 20% share of the revenue that we produce from all of our films, all of our production services. You get that 20%, and it's broken up based on which tier you've purchased. That you get a percentage of that tier and how many of those NFTs have been minted in that tier. There's some rough math to it I can pull up if you want off of the white paper, but essentially the most important thing is it's fractionalized ownership of the company that gets revenue share along with voting rights. It's kind of like a more like a DAO where they get to help make decisions on the production company. Like I'm gonna set a vote here in the next couple of days as we decide how much the royalties are going to be for the Neomint and what percentage of that will go to charity. So that'll be the first official vote that we're going to be doing with those. And then the second is the Neo NFTs, which is the mint that we're having here on November 18th. And the way that that works is that is what we will use for building the budget for this first film, for building the groomer. And then going forward, we'll have Neo NFT mints for each film. They'll be directly connected to that film. And when they'll start off as a PFP, but when the film is finished, what we're going to do is we're going to attach parts of the film to each of the NFTs. So you'll literally own a piece of the film that you helped fund and create, and that would be actual scenes from the movie, along with bloopers and outtakes. And when you see a trailer and you're like, man, that part of the trailer was never in the film. There's tons of that. So those will all be attached to the NFT, and it will, create a whole different worth to those NFTs beyond just the PFP part of them. But it'll also entitle the holders to raffles, to get all expense paid trip to come out and be on set, or be an extra in the film, or come to our table read, or all expense paid trip to the premiere. And each of those will be actual NFTs. We're calling them what was it? It's like Fun Pass or something like that. But there'll be NFTs for each of those, so that, like, say you're in UK and you're like, man, I don't want to fly half the way around the world just to go to a premiere. I got kids, I got work, I can't do it. So then you could just sell that NFT and to someone who would want to do it. So then you're getting a ROI on your NFTs just by holding it and using those raffles. And you'll also get access. So since I wanted this to be so democratic, I wanted everyone to have access to this industry as much as possible to break down those walls. So we'll be doing live streams of the table reads and the on set, and those will be accessible for anyone who has the NFT to come on and watch and participate in. And then the final utility for those is memorabilia airdrops. We'll be doing like autograph NFTs from the lead actors that we will airdrop to holders, or concept art from the film that will airdrop to holders. A first version of the script that will turn into an NFT and airdrop to holders. So lots of things like that. Honestly, the options are endless, and as we get further into this, there'll be more beyond that, but that's the base idea of it.
Sorry, I was on mute there. I just asked you a whole big question, and then I was like, oh, why is he not talking?
I think you're on mute again.
Went back on mute.
Oh, still can't hear you, Stags.
Yeah, still quiet, bud.
Can you guys hear me all right?
There it is.
There you
are.
Yeah, I'm having difficulties this morning. My computer scuffed out, so now I'm on the phone. So my question was, are you doxed, and do you have a team that you work with, and if so, who are they?
Yeah, so we're all doxxed. I've always kind of said that it's hard to be making a film production project and not be doxxed. If you check out our website, you can see at the bottom the whole team. And as well on the Discord, we have a Meet the Team section with all of us and our IMDb's and the work that we've done. So my name's Aaron Markham. I'm the founder and the creator of Neo Masterpiece Films. I've been doing films, like I said, since I was 21. Done everything from an extra to a DP on commercials, short films, feature films. Right now, I make my bread and butter. I live here in St. Louis, Missouri, and I travel out everywhere doing a lot of corporate work. And I do, small films, short films, feature films whenever they come down the pipeline. But you find that in this industry, you pretty much take whatever you can get in order to keep doing what you want to do. Next down the line, we've got Jack Schneider. He's one of the top guys. He was actually my in film school. He was one of my professors, and we just became really good friends during that time. But he's been making films since the 80s. He's the epitome of an independent filmmaker. I think his first film he made on something like $1,500. But since then, he's worked his way up, and now he does a lot of he's a script doctor is his main source of income now. When a feature film is just about ready to go to production, they would hand it off to him to do some final editing, to sweeten it up, to get it ready for shooting. And that's where he makes his money. The most recent one he did was a Morgan Freeman film shot in New Orleans, sci-fi that should be releasing next year. Next, we have Kevin Caliber. He is what I call that guy from That Thing. You've probably seen him in several productions, but you wouldn't know his name. He was on Future Man. He was in Supergirl. He was in Tyler Perry's The Have and Have Nots. He's done tons of commercial work. One thing I always give him shit about is he does a lot of those, those trashy romance novels. He's a bodybuilder, so he gets hired quite often to do the covers of the trashy romance novels. And I probably do it out of spite because I don't think I'll ever get to that level of fitness. So I always give him shit about doing trashy romance novel covers. We got Wyatt Weed. Wyatt Weed is known for his visual effects. He was one of the Predators in Predator 2. He was on Star Trek. If anybody, again, is a weeb like me, he was a part of Guyver back in the 80s. He has done visual effects art for, I think, about 30 years now. And now he's, like me, he does a lot of independent film here in the Midwest. Next, we have Lilton Stewart. He is a DP by trade, a director of photography. He works the camera. He is the one who, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the connections that we have with agents for, Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. So he has connected us with agents to ensure that if we don't get theatrical release for our films, we can sell them to streaming platforms to make sure that we at least make at least return on investment, but trying to get some profit for anything that we produce. And then finally, one that most of you should know, or I guess it depends on how old you are, Reginald VelJohnson. To me, he will always be Carl from Family Matters. But if you're an action movie buff, he was in Die Hard, Die Hard 2, and he was also in Ghostbusters, and he played a cop in all three of those, and as Carl in Family Matters. So most of his acting career, he was a cop.
Perfect. Sounds like you have a decent sized team there. What will you do with the films that you guys create?
So the films that we create, the main goal is always theatrical release. Theatrical release is your best chance at making a good profit on your film. It's also the most risky, but an average film release, not a blockbuster and not a flop that gets international theatrical release, usually averages between $30 and $50 million. So that is always the number one goal for our films. But theatrical release requires a bigger budget. So it's more if we reach the budget that we're aiming for, then we do theatrical release. And if we don't, then we fall back and we go with Lilton's connections and we sell them to streaming platforms.
Nice. Talk about the production services you offer other projects.
So when I got into this space, the whole goal at first was to create the groomer. But as I sat in the space longer, like I said, there's tons of scams, there's tons of people who make empty promises. And I noticed that other projects didn't really have like a quality go-to reliable production service, like to get their hype videos made, their logo reveals, their explainer videos, all of like the video assets that these projects were getting made were, finding them off of Fiverr, going to Upwork, and hoping that they get something good. And several of the clients that I came across, they hired someone, paid them like $10,000, and really just got a piece of shit video. So I saw that as a big glaring sign that we needed to fill that and start offering production services so that new projects or projects that are in the space that need those services at least know that, one, it's going to be a quality product, and two, they're not going to get scammed. So that, when a project's like, man, I really want to get a video made, they know that they can go to us and get it made quality, efficiently, and that it will be a justifiable price for what they're looking to get, and they're not going to get, scammed or over quoted on what they're looking for.
Perfect. I've just swapped back over to the computer. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you good.
Perfect. Ideo. I've only got a couple questions left here for you. What projects are in the pipeline?
A lot of projects are in the pipeline. As I started off with the groomer, that was a whole goal at first, and that's the big goal. I guess phase one main goal is to get the groomer done. As it really is a personal goal as much as it is a project goal. But as I spent time in the space, new opportunities popped up. A company called Meta Marketing International, where it was trying to get a documentary made that covers companies that are physically trying to bridge Web3 and Web2 in a real way, such as think of wearable NFTs, metaverse architects, companies who are building actual like crypto wallets that are treated more like a what am I thinking of? Like a Visa card as opposed to like having to work through wallets. So making it actual bridges so that the main goal is to get to a point where grandma can be in Web3, not realize that she's using Web3, and that's when mass adoption occurs. So we'll be covering each of those as a on their own kind of undercover boss style, and then at the end we'll show, I guess, what you would almost call a Web3 utopia, what the world could be like if all of these projects achieve their goals, and how the world would look at the end of that. And then we have a film that we wrote years ago before Knives Out came out that I guess was ahead of its time because nobody was interested in it when we wrote it. So it got shelved. And then I guess about 3 months ago, Netflix came to us and was like, hey, we need this story. It was a lot like, it reminded them a lot of Knives Out and Parasite, and they wanted to get it produced. So, but in return, they wanted us to get letters of interest, which is like a retainer for the actors that we had pitched for the film. So we are working on that right now to get those letters of interest to get that going, and then Netflix. If we do that, Netflix will fund the film and get it made. It won't be something that we would make profit on, but it would definitely be something that would solidify Neo as an official, Web3 production company. With nobody's going to doubt it at that point because our stuff is on Netflix and is verifiable. And then, like I said, the production services that we're building, and finally the groomer.
Perfect. I've got one last question for you, and then I'll open it up to the community to see if they've got anything to ask you. If you guys do have anything, drop them in the VC text chat. What will the community involvement look like?
Community involvement, I plan on being as deep as I can make it. The top level is so say after the groomer's done, we have right now we have about 15 scripts sitting there in the vault. So after the groomer's done, we'll go, hey, here's a scissor reel and a pitch deck for 5 movies that we're considering. We want you guys to pick. We want you guys to choose what movie we should make. And we'll justify those votes, and then we'll make that movie. And during the production process of the groomer and any films we make, we'll say, all right, we've auditioned 50 people. Here's the top 5 we're considering for our lead actor. Here's their audition tapes. Who would you want to be the lead actor? And we'll go with that answer, their vote. We've put together these musical scorings for this scene. Which one do you like the most? Here's a couple of location options that we're considering for the mansion in this film. Which one do you like? Which one would you choose? So we want it to be as deep as possible that they can really have a say in those choices, as well as I said, like we want to break down those walls, those gates. And so if you're in the industry and you want to leg up as an actor or as a DP or as a gaffer or as a set designer, by holding one of those NFTs, we're going to let you, when we'll announce auditions when we're ready to audition for film. And if you are an actor holding our NFT, we're going to give you a leg up over just anybody else because you are a holder at our company, and give you a higher chance at acting in our films. Or if you're a writer and you have a script that you wrote when you were 12 and it got canned, you put it away, it's been on your laptop for forever because real life got in the way and you ended up being a plumber. Well, here's your chance to get that film made. Like, just give it to us. Like, if it's something that can be made, we'll present to the community and let them decide if it's something that we'll create. I really want it to be as close to, like I said, a democratic production company as I can make it, while still allowing the people who know what they're doing and have been doing it the longest to make those films. And to me, I just want to make cool movies, man. And if the community's willing to support me and help this vision come to fruition, they deserve everything that I can give them.
Perfect. There's a question. It looks like questions are starting to come through now in the VC text chat. So the first one's from Metal Hydra. He wants to know, in what ways do you feel that Web3 based films, film studio developers have an advantage over established studios?
One of the biggest things, I know I hear it in every NFT, but honest and project is community. Like you literally have a fan base, a built-in vocal fan base for anything that you create. So that gives you a leg up when you are producing something over someone who, just is an independent filmmaker and makes a movie and hopes that, they can take it to Sundance or something like that. You literally have, for lack of a better word, an army behind you to help your production company grow and succeed. And they're there to guide you. And the second is, what I see is eventually we're all going to be Web3 production companies in one way, shape, or form. And by being one of the first in the space to do it, by the time that Paramount, Fox, A24, Blumhouse, all of them move in, there will already be, the pioneers of film 3 here that have established themselves. So now it's a lot harder for them to kind of push us around the way they do in traditional filmmaking because we have a foothold.
Cool. So they keep coming. They're coming through now. There's a few comments now. One was from myself. I wrote, "Follow me around with a camera for a month. You'll have plenty of content." It's no lie. Another one was
Bet.
from Ratfather saying, "Go Posty."
I just said, yeah, bet.
100%. There's no lying. Ratfather said, "Wow, giving an opportunity to the community feels a lot like what Web3 is about." I agree.
It really is.
Yeah. There's another question from Metal Hydra come through saying, also, what do you foresee will be the major points of contention / difference between Web3 film communities and your team or other established filmmakers who are seeking to operate in Web3?
As I said before, like it's going. I would hope that. I mean, it's my idea is not like it is revolutionary, but it's not. I'm really just taking something that's already done and works well and repurposing it in a new technology. So my hope is honestly that a lot of other filmmakers kind of see the same opportunity that I do. I don't think it's necessarily a competition. It is, but it isn't. I really see it as us like working together, raising tide rises all ships. So if 20 other filmmakers come in and have the same kind of concept, great. If we can all work together and build a coalition, that's beautiful. Because it's that much harder for the big boys who control, film production and what we watch now. It's that much harder for them to take over when they do if we're all working together and working towards this common goal of, taking away the industry away from the 1%ers essentially and bringing it back so that the fans, because let's be honest, you can make a movie, but if the fans don't watch it, then what is the point? If it doesn't actually resonate with the people who care about those movies, what's the point? So I welcome people to have the same goal as me and us all work together to make it a reality so that again, like it's no longer a gated 1% who controls our media. It's the people who watch the movies, who care about it, that get to decide, to get to have control. It's high-minded, but really I think of it as a revolution.
Good answer. So Ratfather said monks are a community of Web3 vets, and that was the first comment. Then I think there's a question now. He says, as a new venture in the Web3 space, surely you will come to unforeseen challenges. Many startups in the space rise quickly at mint and fade quickly. What gives you the most confidence in being able to preserve and thrive in this space?
this is I'm prior military. And one thing that I learned in the military is it's great to have a plan for the first 5 minutes because those plans last for about 5 minutes. They always say, yeah, you always had a plan till you got punched in the face. So, what the biggest thing that I learned from the military is you act quickly and you move with a purpose. And a lot of times people won't even realize that you made a mistake because you've pivoted and made the necessary changes to react to that issue that nobody noticed that there was an issue. So honestly, it is my training, my upbringing that I think gives me an edge. And I mean, I'm not a quitter. I will do whatever I have to do until I literally have nothing left to make this work.
Thank you for that. But the question before, Metal Hard just said, great answer, thank you. And he's got another question. Do you feel that actors and other high income earners in the film industry, the 1%, will adapt over time will adapt over time to expected reduced earnings from films that will likely eventuate from a more decentralized Web3 model? What are the main structural changes that need to happen in the industry to make Web3 films the go-to model?
There's going to be some kind of like how Facebook brought everybody onto the internet. There's going to be a catalyst that brings everyone to the Web3 model of the way things that work. Nobody knows for sure what that is yet, but yes, I do. Just like the internet and everything else. At first, it works amazing for the first movers, the first people who try and pioneer, but eventually it does get settled by civilization. We're in the feudal Wild West area, and that's where the most opportunity is. But eventually, the rest of civilization will move in, and then profitability, opportunity, all of that will start to wane, and it'll become more like it is right now in the centralized. That's the way it is. But again, as I said, the first people to move, the first people to do it, get to dictate how it will be when that happens, because they're going to look towards us. They're going to look towards the pioneers of the space to understand it and to figure out how to use it. And that's the real power.
Fantastic. There doesn't seem to be any more questions coming through. There are a couple of people typing, so we'll just give it a couple of minutes. But I just want to say appreciate your time. Sounds super interesting what you guys are doing. And I think Postmaster popped a link to your guys' Discord. Oh, it looks very much like Neo Tokyo.
I did, and it's also in the giveaway template as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is very like it very much is like the art style that I created and everything was more on just my idea of this is what I thought would be cool art, that if I were to buy NFTs, this is what I would want it to be. And that was really the only like thought process behind the art itself. You'll find in the NFTs there's little Easter egg type of things in the attributes. Like if you look on one of them's got Wolverine's claws. So like you'll find little things like that, but overall it is really just the brand of Neo Masterpiece Films, the Neo Tokyo cyberpunk style. That is the art of the NFTs, and the actual film style stuff comes later when the film gets connected to those PFPs.
Oh yeah, I was just actually Ratfather. I was just about to ask exactly the same question. Ratfather wants to know: are you associated anyway with Neo Tokyo? Are you a holder?
I'm not. I tried with several of my friends who are Neo Tokyo holders to get a audience with them, but apparently they've kind of become introverted since the bear market and aren't really looking for AMAs or projects to present to them as much as they used to.
Doesn't seem to be any more questions. I don't know if you're watching the VC text chat, but everyone's Metal Hydra said, really appreciate your insights here, mate. It's awesome to see that the same problems are perceived across every industry, including filmmaking. And Cloud said, thanks for the AMA. Looking forward to diving in more. And then Ratfather said, would you be welcome to the rats in the Neo Tokyo dumpster? Not sure what that means, but
Sure. Rats got to have home somewhere, right?
that's exactly right. Well, we're about 10 minutes early. I'll just I'll wait a couple more minutes, see if anyone wants to ask anything else. If not, we'll wrap it up. And yeah, thanks heaps for your time today. Thanks heaps for coming out. And yeah, it was nice.
Thanks for letting me come in and chill my project. I've told many of the people in my community that again, when I had this idea, nobody was doing it, and I'm glad that people are doing it now. But when I hopped in, like, especially when you're doing something new and different, like, I had no idea how it was going to go. And the more that I do this, the more that people are really receptive to the idea and the thought process behind the whole project. And I'm very humbled by the support that I've gotten for what I'm trying to do.
Nice. And I don't know if you have seen, but we actually have a job board section of our Discord. So if you're ever looking for any staff, a lot of the people in here are looking for jobs in Web3, and that's what we try and do at Monks. We try and get opportunities to our holders as well. So yeah, if you ever are looking for people, we've got AI people, we've got community managers, we've got social media team, we've got security people. Whatever you need, we're here to help. You sound like a nice bloke, so yeah, we'd love to help you out.
Oh, we got
Hey.
actors, singers, writers. We got it all.
And I welcome all creatives, and to to work together. The coolest thing I've always thought about, people who are creatives is everyone can look at the same thing, and 100 creatives can look at, let's say, a Coke bottle. And if you ask them to think of what they could do with that Coke bottle, you'd get 100 different answers. And I've always thought that was one of the coolest things about people who are like very creative minded.
Funny
I'm
you
very
say
much
that, actually, because Postmaster and Love Slayer are about to release a video soon that involves a Coke bottle. So that was,
Yeah. You can find it on OnlyFans. Yeah.
one of the big 2-liter ones.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, he's a little sore still, but yeah.
But yeah, in saying that, I think that's a good point to finish this AMA off on. But yeah, again, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming out today, and we look forward to getting updates, seeing you. And we've actually, Postmaster, we've got a whitelist opportunity.
Yeah, the giveaway is currently running, I believe. I believe it was going to end after the AMA. We've had it going for about a week, I think, now.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, I guess I should drop this shill really quick before I do that. We're minting 3,333 of the first round of our Neo NFTs on November 18th. And those will be $150 in ETH, which right now I think is like, well, it's gone up a little bit. So like 0.07 ETH. We're going to change that as close to the mint date as possible, but that'll be mint price. Our whitelist will be $125 in ETH, and our OG is $100 in ETH.
Perfect. You said you had the mint date already announced?
Yes.
Okay,
Mint date is November 18th.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that when I wrote up the actual giveaway, so okay. I'll throw that in there as well. And what was the guy's name that you said worked on Supergirl?
Kevin Caliber.
Oh, okay. He probably knows my buddy. My buddy ran the stunt coordination company for Supergirl.
Oh, really? Crazy the people that you connect with this in this space.
Crazy. Okie dokie, monks. So that wraps up that AMA.